Yo, welcome back to Footballology. So I want to do something a little different this year. I didn't want to do the top five of every position. I wanted to do top 10 on each side of the ball. So 10 defensive guys, 10 offensive guys, and just pit out 20 guys that I feel like are really quality guys and that you're pretty much going to see these guys play Sunday, guaranteed, and play at a high level, in my opinion. Also, before I start this video, I wanted to let you guys know that no one's going to agree with what I'm about to say. It's going to be completely out there, but I just feel that this draft class is one of those draft class that doesn't have a lot to offer. I think a lot more teams have to do a lot more research this year. A guy that's supposed to be projected second round can go into the first round. A guy that's supposed to be projected first round can go in the third round. I think it's that kind of draft. It's not like last year's draft. Last year's draft, you literally could have put a blindfold over your eyes, turned off the lights, and threw a dart at the board, and you would have walked away with a quality starter. That's how deep last year's draft was, and that's how quality last year's draft was. Excuse me, just now getting over something. But I feel like this video is gonna be extremely controversial, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna disagree with everything I'm about to say. These are gonna be my top 10 offensive players. So let's get into this video. Starting off my top 10 list, at number 10, I got Paxton Lynch. Now, the quarterback position is not as deep as people are giving it credit for. Like, I think we're just getting force-fed quarterbacks this year. Everyone's Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, this guy. Paxton Lynch barely made my list, so I'm going to be completely honest with you. I really didn't feel like any quarterback deserved to be on this top 10 list. I do feel that I'm being force-fed quarterbacks this year. It happened in 2011 with Christian Ponder, Jake Locker, and Blaine Gabbert. You're just getting force-fed quarterbacks like, hey, here's a quarterback. Here, this guy's good. These guys in this year's draft, I don't feel like can play at the next level or play at a quality level at the next level. Paxton Lynch, I feel like has the best upside of all the quarterbacks that are coming out this year. Definitely has the big arm, has the big stature. Me personally, I'm 6'4", 6'5" quarterback, and if you're taller than that, as long as you can throw the ball decently, you're my guy, basically. Paxton Lynch, I think his biggest deal though is he looks for the deep ball. He looks for the kill shot too much, so he finds himself holding onto the ball a little bit too much. Then also playing out of the shotgun, he just doesn't. I don't think he has that drop back rhythm, but he definitely has the big arm. The reason why I feel like he's the more coachable one is because I think where he lacks is reading the field. So now at this point, you get him into the film room, you say, hey, don't be afraid to check it down. Don't be afraid to hit your tight end and come across the middle. Don't be afraid to hit that running back in the flat. Don't be afraid to check down, go for it, live to play another down, if you will. Not so much don't be afraid to take a sack. Nobody wants to take a sack. Get rid of the ball and live to play another down. Carson Wentz, I think for once, I will agree, and I'm not a big fan of this, but I will agree that Carson Wentz, when you look at him, that he hasn't played anyone. I mean, when you're in, the conference that he's in, you're supposed to dominate. If you're the best, you're supposed to dominate. You're supposed to be good. For some reason, though, I'm not sold on Carson Wentz. I think, once again, I'm just being force-fed him, so that's why he didn't make my list, and that's why Paxton Lynch did. I just think Paxton Lynch has a better upside, and I think he has a better chance to do something at the next level. If he gets right with the right regime and with the right coaching, I think he has an opportunity to do a little bit more than a Carson Wentz would. Don't get me wrong, I love Hugh Jackson. I think he's going to do phenomenal things in Cleveland. If Wentz goes there, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. But I just don't feel comfortable taking a quarterback in the top 5 this year, or the top 10, or the first round. If you take Wentz in the second round, thumbs up. I think you got to steal at that point. In the first round, I think you're going to regret it. Next on my list, I got Will Fuller. I like him a lot. I like what he did at the Combine. Definitely feel like he submitted himself into the second round, and he has an opportunity to be a good receiver at the next level. But some things that he needs to work on is understanding that his speed is not going to help him as much. It's definitely going to be a threat. Don't get me wrong. Now, speed kills. But I don't think he needs to understand that it's not going to be what it was when he was in college. That his speed is going to be really his best trait and his best weapon for now in his rookie campaign. But I think later on and throughout his career, he needs to work on his route running. We've seen a guy like him and Devin Smith go in the second round. With Devin Smith, same situation. His speed was good. Speed is good. Everybody's going to tell you that. You're going to love that. But you got to work on the route tree. You got to become a complete receiver and be that threat across the middle. The guy that on 3rd and 5 that people still have to worry about catching that 3rd and 6 or catching that for 6 yards for that first down. So that's the things he just needs to work on. And I feel like if he works on those things, he becomes a complete receiver. And then a guy that can just take that next step and really threaten teams with his speed and underneath stuff. I mean, you think about it, if you're a speedy receiver and you can work the underneath too, teams don't know what to do. That double move becomes that much more sick and that much more killer. Next on my list at number 8 is Jack Conklin. Now, I love offensive linemen. I feel like the offensive linemen pretty much are the foundations of any good offense. You look at some of the better offenses in the NFL, it lives and dies by the offensive line. And me personally, I mean, quarterback play is definitely up there. Don't get me wrong. You got to have solid quarterback play. But me personally, let me build a solid offensive line. Let me get 5 starters that I can believe in for the next 5 years. And I think you can't beat me. I'm unstoppable at that point. But with him at tackle, I think he has a really bad timing, if you will, engaging with the pass rushers, and I feel like he's better suited if he went into guard and he used his power and strength that he has and that he's just blessed with at guard and help with the run game. I don't like when he engages with the pass rushers. I feel like that when he kick slides, it's almost like an anticipation kick slide, like, oh, I think you're gonna come here, and then he kind of sometimes overplays it a little bit too much and he kind of hurts himself. But at the same time, I mean, he has natural ability, so I think that makes up for it in a while. But kick this man in the guard, let his power and strength take over, and let him have that ability to just maul people. Like, this is your job, dude. Get after people, take them down, keep moving forward. And I think he has great success at the next level. Next on my list is Tyler Boyd at number 7. I like this guy. I like Pitt receivers. They put him out, obviously. When I found out Larry Fitzgerald was from there, I was like, it makes sense. We got John Baldwin in Kansas City. My Chiefs fans know about that. I personally still feel like he had an opportunity to be a quality receiver, but that's neither here or there. But Tyler Boyd, though, I think he has that ability, if you will. Not Larry Fitz-esque yet, but I think he has the ability to be a great receiver. I think he's just a raw talent that really needs to find his home with the right receiving core. And what I mean by that is he needs if Calvin Johnson was still in the league, he needs a guy like Calvin Johnson. He needs a guy like Larry Fitzgerald, Andre Johnson. He needs those kind of receivers to kind of take him under his wing and teach him how to be a complete receiver. Teach him how to, run those routes a little bit more technique and things like that, because he's not one of those fast guys. He's not going to blow you away. But at the same time, I think where he's going to make his money is with his hands. Dude's a phenomenal hands catcher. And I just think that's all Pitt receivers. They tend to attack the ball extremely well. And any of the big ones that come out. But I think Boyd is definitely going to be a 2nd or 3rd round guy. And he has the opportunity to be successful on a team that definitely needs a receiver like him. You think like a Baltimore, even like Indianapolis. I know they got Moncrief and they got T.Y., but they need a guy like him. This guy is a solid red zone threat. And what I mean by that is he knows how to body control, box out, hand catch it, come down with it, take that hit, and still come down with it. I like him a lot, but I just think he needs that extra molding. I don't know what exactly it is, but he just doesn't have it yet. So if you put him under the right coaching and the right receiving core and the right locker room, I think he has the ability to be a Hall of Famer. I've never said that about anybody, but this guy's, I feel it, you know what I mean? I just feel it. If, there's a lot of ifs there, but if he gets into the right situation, I think he has the ability to be. Next on my list is Corey Coleman, the receiver out of Baylor. Now, it was not rumored, but he ran a 4.3 at his his pro day, and that's quality. I think Corey Coleman tested the way Antonio Brown looks when he plays. Does that make sense? Because you go back and you look at Antonio Brown testing, it's completely abysmal, horrible, and you see why he went around that he did. Teams didn't expect nothing from him. You can never measure a man's heart, though. I think that's what Coleman is, though. Coleman is what Antonio Brown looks like today. I think Coleman has the ability to join the 6 foot and under club as a receiver and be that dynamic threat. There's not too much flawed in his game, me personally. I think he catches the ball extremely well. He runs after the catch extremely well and runs fast. And, it's just that guy that you don't expect that from. But, yeah, he has it like an Antonio Brown. I'm not comparing him to Antonio Brown now, but there's some similarities there. Don't get me wrong. Dude got a vicious stiff arm. Check it out. But Antonio Brown stiff arm. Jesus. That's just, I don't know if it's momentum or what it is, but, dude, he definitely knows how to use it. But I think Coleman has the ability to do that. Now, with Coleman, his downside, me personally, it's always going to be size. Like, Antonio Brown is great. Don't get me wrong. Dude he is the reason why the 6 foot and under club exists. But I don't know. I can never be sold on a 6 foot and under receiver. I think Coleman, size, it's not going to be an issue as long as he takes care of himself and he does what needs to be done and has a good quarterback. And I think that not taking away from Antonio Brown, but I think that's the reason why Antonio Brown has had such good success is because he has a quarterback to grow with and a quarterback that was going to allow him to grow. I think Coleman needs the same thing. You need to pit him. You need to pit him with a team that has that quarterback in place that he can grow with, and that quarterback will allow him to grow. And I think that's what Antonio Brown's had his career. You think about it, if he would have went to a team that didn't have a quality quarterback play, will we still have the same Antonio Brown that we had today? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, because sometimes it gets frustrating, it gets annoying, you're not getting the ball, you're not getting opportunities. Sometimes your quarterback's throwing you into bad traffic. You know what I mean when I say bad traffic? I'm talking about James Harrison waiting on you to catch that ball so he can Muhammad massacre you. Bad traffic. That kind of stuff. And then you start second guessing your career options and things like that. As long as Coleman gets that kind of quarterback play, I think he'd be solid. You think about look at Odell and Eli Manning. I mean, they have that rapport already, but at the same time, Eli allows him to grow. So Coleman, he just needs to go to the right team, plain and simple. I think if he goes to the right team, he's going to have great success. Is he a first rounder? I don't know. See, that's it. And Coleman's he's one of those guys that going in the first round, yeah, maybe. You take him in the second round, yeah, I feel good with that, but will he match? Would he last in the second round? So it just depends on that kind of type of stuff. You think like a Baltimore that could use a quarterback or a receiver like him. Me personally, I just think Baltimore needs to get some more route runners in there. That's how I feel. When they lost to Laquon, they kind of hurt themselves. But they get Steve Smith back this year. Next, breaking into the top 5, Ryan Kelly at number 5. I love offensive linemen. I think offensive linemen, once again, they make it go, man. Ryan Kelly at center, I think that's what hurts him the most at his draft stock. He's a center. Do you take a center in the first round? No, yes. I mean, Travis Frederick went in the first round, right? Technically. So it's like, why not take him in the first round? I think once again, you take him and you build an anchor almost. You build the tip part of the anchor, and this guy will literally anchor your line for the next 10 years. That's just what he does. He's just a quality offensive lineman that could come in, show up, and take care of business. You think about, once again, a Cleveland in the first round. Pretty high for Ryan Kelly, I think. But they get him, they replace Alex Mack in a snap of fingers. Really, you think about Atlanta going out and getting Alex Mack. No offense, Alex Mack, pretty much the whole Cleveland offensive line, I was a huge fan of. Joe Thomas, Alex Mack, we got Schwartz. I was pumped about that. Then they added Cameron Irving last year. I thought that he was going to do some good quality things for them, but he had a chance to kind of step up yet. But Atlanta, going out to get Alex Mack, they could have saved that money and went to go get Ryan Kelly in the first round at the later picks. But I guess they had other things in mind. I'm not a GM. I'm just saying. But once again, Ryan Kelly, though, he's that guy that's going to anchor your offensive line. There's not too many flaws in his game, I think, personally. I think he just shows up, plays football, and goes home. I think that's just what he does. He's programmed to play center, and, he's smart enough to look for protections. He's going to protect your quarterback in any kind of necessary way. You think about some of the younger quarterbacks in the league right now. They can use a guy like him. Marcus Mariota, definitely. Jameis Winston. I know they kind of have some situations there. They have some other things going on there. Andrew Luck. I'm all about protecting Andrew Luck. Why not go get, Ryan Kelly and bolster your offensive line? I'm trying to think of some other teams. I mean, he can still kick out the guard, so that's the complete opportunities there too. I just think this man is a great offensive line, and I think that's why I have him in the top 5. And really, personally, I think he's a little bit higher than that. But I think top 5 is a solid and good foundation pick or spot for him. Next on my list, at number 4 is Laremy Tunsil. I like him a lot. I like everybody a lot. Don't get me wrong, I just do. But no, I think he actually when people rate him as a top tackle, I'm kind of like indifferent about it. First overall pick, I'm still indifferent about it. Remember Jason Smith came out a couple years ago. Baylor, where is he now? You know, he was definitely that guy. I'm not comparing him to Jason Smith. He's a completely different person, a different player. But I'm just saying, though, sometimes with these offensive tackles, you got to tread softly. In 2013, the Kansas City Chiefs, we had to take Eric Fisher, and I think that was by force. So make sure that if you're a team selecting at the number 1 overall pick and you see Laremy and you feel comfortable with that, do it, you know. But if you're not too sure about it, don't do it. Take option 2, in my opinion. I think you have to be completely sold on this guy, but there's not too much flaw in his game. I think he's an athletic tackle. He's definitely a guy that fits the mold of as an offensive tackle at left tackle. But then, you know, just make sure that he's that guy for the next 10 years. I can't find too many flaws in his game. I think he has the opportunity to be great at the next level. Yeah, I said great at the next level, but it's just willing. You know, with these offensive tackles, it takes a lot of time. I think you're starting to see the development curve for offensive tackles now almost to be a 2 to 3 year thing, and it's crazy. I mean, everybody wants the next Joe Thomas, but that's not an ability. But Joe Thomas is definitely a whole nother beast. But I think Laremy has an opportunity to be that good for a lot of teams. Will I take him in the top 5? You think about some teams sitting up there, they're looking at some left tackles, so they're probably looking at this guy, and so you might have to. You might just go out and go get a guy like this, and hopefully he can anchor and solid and kind of secure that left tackle position, because I mean, obviously it's the second most important position on the team behind the quarterback, and he has to protect your quarterback. So you want to make sure that you have a guy that you can trust. And like I said, there's just not too many flaws in his game. The dude kick slides extremely well. He's engaged with his defenders extremely well. I think he just has the opportunity to really develop his game at the next level. If he can really hone in on what he has in front of him with athleticism and talent, I think he has the opportunity to be a great. Next on my list is Laquon Treadwell, receiver from Ole Miss. Now, when I watched him in the combine, I mean, obviously he didn't run his 40. I don't think he has a great 40. He doesn't have top end speed. What he is a receiver. Plain and simple. He's just a receiver. He's not going to blow by you, but he's definitely going to get past you. Like, dare I say it, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice wasn't the fastest receiver, but for some reason he always had 10 yards. He always had a 10-yard window or 5-yard window. It's just with his route running. I think that's what Laquon possessed. I think he has that ability to kind of post you up and then make that move to open himself up. And I think he just has that knack for the receiver position. Catches the ball extremely well with his hands. Now, I think something that probably will hurt him is probably his injuries. I think, you know, sometimes you got to watch out for guys. We don't really talk about that a lot. But sometimes guys are just injury prone and they just get hurt. They just can't stay healthy. They have all the talent and all the ability in the world, but this game just wasn't, their body wasn't built for this game. You think, quick example, Bob Sanders from Indianapolis. One of my favorite safeties, you know, when I first started getting into football, he was one of the safeties that I started to kind of pull towards, but his body didn't allow him to play the way his mind wanted to. And sometimes you got to watch out for some of those guys that do that. Not saying Laquon's injury prone or anything like that, but that's just something that I feel like that a team's kind of question mark, if you will. If you start to trying to nitpick and find things that are wrong with certain players, those are the things you start to kind of touch on and look at and things like that. But I think he catches the ball extremely well in traffic. You know, he finds a way to get himself open to help out his quarterback, and sometimes that's important for a lot of teams. Once again, this guy can go in the first round. Cleveland, you can get this guy in the first round, go in the second round and go get your quarterback. So now you got an A.J. Green, Andy Dalton situation going on. And I think he has the ability, like more or less like an A.J. Green. A.J. Green is not fast, he's just striding. if that makes sense. He just, the long legs, dude. He covers so much ground in one step. It's insane. And then he catches the ball over his shoulder. He high points the ball really well. And I think that's what kind of Laquon possesses. I think he has that ability to be that same type of receiver. Stretch the field with his length almost, and not so much with his speed. So if you're still with me at this point and you disagree with me, you're going to about to extremely disagree with me at a whole nother level. Ezekiel Elliott at number 2. Yeah, that's how I feel. Okay, first of all, I'm not a fan of the smaller running backs. I haven't been ever. I always liked the bigger guys. I always thought the bigger guys last longer and ran better. Ezekiel Elliott is extremely shifty and extremely fast. We've seen this before in Reggie Bush. Extremely shifty, and extremely fast. But I think with Reggie Bush, his situation was just really bad. Went to a bad situation in New Orleans. New Orleans wasn't a heavy run team. Didn't allow him to kind of develop himself into a great running back. But that's near or there. When you watch Elliott, he runs with decent patience. He runs with great patience. Not great, but decent, good patience around there. Obviously, his speed, I think, is a lot of things. A lot of teams, a lot of people look at. His ability to catch the ball is something that definitely sets him apart. But I'm just not. It's hard for me to explain it and not kind of put it out there as a con for people to actually kind of put a pin in it and say that's what it is. But it's just something about him that I'm not sold on. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling that I truly am just not sold on Ezekiel Elliott like a lot of people are. Now, do I think he's good and talented? Oh, by all means, I do. I think he has the ability to be amazing at the next level. I think he get with the right squad. He has that ability. And I keep repeating myself about getting with the right system and right team. And that's because I feel that is 60 to 70% of the reason why we don't see a lot of players live up to the potential in their talent. They just find themselves in really bad situations. Now with Elliott, I remember him complaining about not getting the ball in one of the games at Ohio State. I can't pinpoint it, but somebody out there can. That's what you want from your running back. You want him to be able to hang your hat on him when it's crunch time, when it's ready, when you need that 4th and 1. And I think he's that kind of guy. He's going to run with some power. He's for his size. I think he runs with great, decent power. I always say great. He runs with good to decent power. But I think where he's going to make his bread and butter is his ability to read the hole and burst through it with great acceleration. That is true. He has great acceleration and good to mediocre top end speed. His ability to catch the ball is going to be something that definitely sets him apart at the next level. But it's just, I think with him, it's just, I don't know what it is exactly. I'm just not sold yet. And it might be his size. It might personally be his size. I'm just not sold on him yet. So that's why he's number 2. Last but not least, Derrick Henry, number 1 overall, top 10 offensive player for Footballology. The reason why I like him at number 1, 6'1", 245. Dude is a monster size. And then obviously, if you guys have been following me and watching all my other past videos, if you haven't, go back and watch some of my past videos. You know, I'm a huge fan of Alabama running backs. So borderline bias right here. I would say about 40% biased. The 60% is just me thinking that he's going to be a better player than Ezekiel Elliott. He runs with great patience, good vision. His speed definitely will hinder him on some plays. You think about it, he break it open to the open field. His speed at Alabama, it was because he was good. I mean, in college, when the fast guys are fast, they're going to be fast, if that makes any sense. At the NFL, fast guys are the same guys that are hiking you the ball. So it's like you go from worrying about the corner chasing you down to almost worrying about a Dante Poe chasing you down. And that's the difference in between the collegiate level. So when you look at that, I think Derrick Henry, his top end speed is definitely something a lot of teams are going to shy away from because he's not a home run guy. All right, whatever, who cares? He's a 3-down guy. That's something we don't talk about. He's a guy that can catch the ball extremely well that, you know, he doesn't get credit for. I think he runs the ball with patience, and that's something that we've seen. Even Le'Veon Bell, one of my favorite running backs, has no top end speed. And we can all sit here and we can argue about it. He doesn't have any top end speed. He has great burst, but he doesn't have the top end home run speed. But he runs to find the open hole, and that's something Derrick Henry does. He runs with power, but at the same time, he can run with a little shake, a little finesse. Nothing crazy, but a little finesse to it. And I think that's just why I like him. I mean, 6'1", 247. What's not like what's not there? Like, why not like him? It's just, what's not to like? I can't get it out. But it's just that's why he's my number one guy. I think that, once again, put him in the right system. This is key. Now, listen to what I'm saying, guys. If you put him in the right system, he's definitely going to flourish. I'm not saying go to Dallas. No. System. That's what I mean. System. Not team. System. There's some coaches that take a player because they're told to take a player, a.k.a. Mike Shanahan in New York, or Mike Shanahan when he was in Washington. He was told to take RG3. RG3 didn't fit what Mike Shanahan wanted to do, so Mike Shanahan had to build a system around him to fit what RG3 did. That's not what you want. When you draft, you want to draft players that are going to come in and be exactly what you need them to be in that system. And so if you can't get that from a player, don't take them. Don't waste that pick. Don't waste your time. Don't waste the money. Don't waste that player's talent. Because if you do that, then you hurt yourself. So with Derrick Henry, put him in the right system, he will flourish. He will be a consistent 1,000 to 1,200 yard rusher for you, with maybe 200 to 300 receiving yards on the back end. And that's kind of steep for a running back, but maybe that on the back end. And 10 touchdowns, 10 total, more or less 10 total. Let's say 10 total touchdowns, receiving and rushing. And I think he has that ability to do that. And so, once again, put him in the right system. I think he's going to be a quality running back, and definitely. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, it's going to be an extremely controversial video, and I'm okay with that. Let me know what your top 10 offensive players are in the comment section below. I really would love to hear from you guys and appreciate from all my footballologists out there. If you're not a footballologist yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Become a footballologist today. And like I said, I'm kind of indifferent on this draft. Once again, you got to do your research. You got to do your homework on this draft, because if you don't, you will find yourself picking a guy that you could have gotten in the third round. Stay safe, football fans.